I'm Tim Herrera with the Sacramento County Office of Education with another Teacher of the Year profile. We're here speaking with Leslie Macek from the Center Joint Unified School District.
Right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, congratulations on being a Teacher of the Year. What was that like to feel that?
Oh boy, it was kind of shocking. They had a Day of the Teacher celebration and we all went up on stage from all 9 schools I think, and stood up there, and I was just surrounded by a lot of talent from all the other schools, and I just couldn't believe it. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us at what school you teach at and what you do teach.
I teach at Spinelli Elementary. It's a Title I school in Antelope, and I teach 4th and 5th grade combination class.
So tell us about Title I and what makes that different. Title
I is low income, low performing. Sometimes our goal is always to make it higher, and we actually had a really high API last year, so it seems like we're getting there.
And when you're dealing with students in a Title I community, what are some of the different challenges you might face compared to other communities?
We have a lot of non-English speaking parents, and that's a challenge at times. We try to get some of the main languages, try to get some interpreters for that, but there are always others that we just can't find them for, so that can be a challenge. Parents are working a lot in Title I schools. There's not a lot of parent involvement, so they just don't have the time. So we're taking on a little more of the PTA, the parent part of it at times.
And parental involvement is really important in a school. So how do you kind of meet that challenge when in a situation like you just spoke of that it's so limited?
It is important. I'm always trying to find ways to get parents in there. I tell them I have an open door policy. My door is never closed. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is, what we're doing. You're welcome to come in and sit, and if you want to volunteer, I'll put you to work. Some parents do take me up on that. There are other ways, though. They can, I can send papers home for them to correct. That's one way they can get involved. They can make phone calls for me to things like field trips and book orders, things like that. We try to have some parent nights, which are after working hours. That's difficult too, though, because some parents do work nights as well. So it's a challenge. We try to offer lots of opportunities so that they feel comfortable and want to come in.
And what about the challenges in teaching a combination class?
If you level the kids right, if you get a good meshing group as far as achievement-wise, then it works really well. Last year I had a non-matching class, and that was a challenge. We figured it out. We figured out a way to work, though, with support people and everything. This year, though, it seems to be a lot better. The kids get along really well. We split the math. The 5th grade watches the 4th grade as a review, and then there's an aide for math, and then she kind of takes over with the helping while I work with the 5th graders. And for reading, since this group is really well matched, we just do a mix of 4th and 5th grade reading.
So how long have you been a teacher?
This will be my 15th year.
So in that amount of time, what kind of significant changes have you seen in education during that span?
Well, I was hired on class size reduction when that came around, and I've seen them grow tremendously. This year I have more kids than I've ever had. I have 34 students this year. That's a big change. We're making it work, though. The kids are really excited and enthusiastic and motivated to be there. So that's half the battle right there.
Well, there are a lot of challenges facing education now.
There are.
So in teaching a classroom that large, it must be difficult to try to kind of keep everybody's attention at the same time.
It can. This is the 4th day of school, so we're working on procedure. This is how it should sound. This is how math should look. This is what you should be doing at this time, writing lots of reminders on the board. Lots of clues. After about the 3rd week, they figure out the structure and the schedule pretty much.
So with a large class like that, and especially when you're teaching 2 different grade levels, obviously there are some kids who need more motivation than others. How do you kind of reach those kids?
I make sure I hang out with them a little more. Some kids are just naturally really motivated, and you give them the assignment and they're ready to go. Other kids are a little slower to come on board. I hang out with them a lot. If I act excited, they're going to get excited about it. If I give them jobs or leadership roles, they'll pretty much want to take those on. They don't want to let their classmates down. So.
How important is it to give kids at that age, little leadership responsibilities?
The older they get, the more they need. I think you can kind of see it emerge at the end of 4th grade. that they want to be taking on some more things. We're going to start a student council this year. We didn't have one last year, and I noticed the fifth graders were really ready to take on leadership roles. We had a barbecue, and we wanted to raise some money for our yearbooks. They came up with all the ideas, and I thought this would have been great to have a student council work on this as a team rather than me being the leader. Let them come up with the ideas, let them figure it out, let them make the posters and figure out who's going to run the shifts at the barbecue and things like that. So we decided that would be a good thing to have this year.
So how do you see the kids responding when you give them that responsibility?
They're really excited. It's nothing they've ever done before. They've been the little kids who sit and kind of watch and see the big kids doing all the fun stuff, and they're so excited. They want to do all that.
Now you had mentioned, again, being in a Title I school and many different languages.
Right.
Do you find it difficult connecting with the families as a result?
I do.
And how do you improve on that?
Well, for parent conferences, that's a big one where we'll get. I used to get a lot of no-shows until I thought, well, what about Big Sister comes in and can translate, or Big Brother, or I can call another school and get a translator. I always try to find some way to help them feel more comfortable as far as understanding, because there's nothing worse than talking to a parent who doesn't understand what you're saying. I can gesture all I want, but it's not going to make any sense unless they can understand exactly what I'm saying. So I'll try to find somebody who can interpret and help.
And when you do that, what kind of a change in the connection do you see?
I definitely see a better turnout for parent conferences. The next year, I'll see those parents at back to school night for the next grade. It's kind of neat to see, because there are parents that I had heard rumors about, oh, they'll never show up, they'll never come, you'll never see them. Well, getting them in the class and talking with them and letting them see everything their children are doing and how great their kids are usually doing, they really want to be there, and they come around.
And in different cultures have placed a different emphasis on education as well.
Right.
That's got to be a challenge.
It is, but we just make them. Well, we try to make them understand how important it is, and just inviting them in and getting them in to see, and sending home the kids' work, great things that they're doing. That kind of is a motivator on its own.
So, what inspired you to become a teacher?
Well, when I was a kid, my parents were working so much, and I was at the babysitters a lot, and a lot of times I was home by myself, and I got a lot of positive strokes at school because it was easy and fun for me. So, and I thought, what a great job teachers have. They get to make little kids feel good all day. They tell them how great they are, and oh, you get an A, and they're so loving and caring, and it kind of stuck with me through when I was up, preparing for my career, and I thought, that's what I want to do.
So is there any one special teacher in your background that you think about a lot when you're teaching, someone who inspired you?
I do. It's actually a high school teacher, and I don't have high school, but I went to Sacramento High, and for 11th grade I had Mr. Crystal for government, and he would bring in things that we already knew about. He would make connections on our own experiences so far. He would bring in popular TV show snips and show us that and kind of connect it to real life and things that we could really relate to. So I thought that was great. He was the only one that ever did that. Everybody else taught from the book, and I thought, that's kind of boring, but he made it exciting and interesting.
So once you connect with that one teacher, then you think about some of the special things you can do as well.
Exactly. I have kids that are the age of the kids that I teach, so I'm just engulfed in their culture, their pop culture and everything, and I know the shows they watch, and I know the music they listen to, and they're surprised sometimes that I know what happened on iCarly yesterday or something, and I just try and bring it in, and they can relate to that.
So what do you say to the person who's considering being a teacher? Kind of give them a real quick sales pitch.
Wow, I would say it's the best job in the world. I don't ever want to be anything else, and I'm glad I never was, because you can't even imagine the feeling you get when even the kid that drove you crazy all year long comes up to you and gives you a hug at the end of the year and says, "You're my favorite teacher." You thought, really? But you're making a difference in the lives of little kids, and hopefully it'll go on and they'll kind of pay it forward later on. So it's a great feeling.
Well, congratulations again on the honor you received.
Thank you.
We've been privileged to speak with Leslie Macek, who is the Teacher of the Year for the Center Joint Unified School District.
Thanks
for joining us.